get all your racial epithets out now.
Oh, I'm gonna hold off on those. I'm gonna wait.
Oh, shit. As we come to life here at twitch.tv, Hacker Hameen back on the Evan Williams tonight. We need a deep pour. This is Stack's show. Uh, this is the
Stacks
pre-show. Stacks is on the show. No, but I got
Falls asleep in the getaway car.
the Crown Royal Black upstairs, but I want to save it. That was a nice gift from Triple D. So he's back on the Evo. But yeah, we figured let's send the signal flare up a little early here. 6:15 usually is when we go live. So if you're tuning in, you're one of the ultra kayfabe in the locker room. I'm not sure if you're supposed to be here or not, who let you back here or who your brother or cousin is, but this is the 15 minutes where we usually blow off the steam to each other from everything we've been cunting off about in the chat room. So yeah, it's just before we kick it off, welcome everybody. Hope your Wednesday was productive. You can thank me later for shutting down Instagram, take away some of your trigger warnings and all your rebuttals and retorts to shit that doesn't matter at the end of the day, because what matters is free thought. And I'm here with my brothers, the Conspiracy Horsemen, the greatest group of free thinkers I have the pleasure to be around and interact with in my lifetime. So and I know you guys appreciate it too. Great numbers on Breaking Sal with Stevie and Sal this week. Some more behind the scenes talk.
I gotta tell you something. I'm so friggin' shocked for something that we just decided we were gonna go do
It's
it early
real,
on
man.
Sunday morning.
I love the concept.
Yep.
A lot of the I want to thank everybody for very nice words.
Ian
That's all.
Ferguson hit me up.
Well, I think the important question is off the feedback. Well, we didn't quite get the feedback yet from social media since, thank God, it's hopefully destroyed. Hopefully you destroyed it, Sal. But you may have destroyed it on the worst day because this is the day we plan to push your new T-shirt. So it might not have been the best day to be hacked or destroyed. Really good. I mean, I'm practicing these designs. I hope you three guys like what I came up with. If not, I'll tweak it some more. It's a fun little productive project to create something for my brothers, and you guys deserve to make as much money as possible.
Well, I appreciate it, man. I was pumped to see we got a new shirt coming out via Stevie Richards. I'm just excited to have a Stevie Richards shirt in my pro wrestling tee store, as well. But it's going to be, you know what it's going to be. It's going to be, hey, pal. Yeah, so get your money ready in 1984 to send to Ryan Barkin at ProWrestlingTees.com, pal. Yeah. And get the new hey, pal. Did you like that one? Oh, shit.
I will say this, too, that Greek letters on T-shirts are the hardest things to work with. So I didn't know if you saw your
we
T-shirt
gotta change
popping
that.
on.
I did. I love it. We gotta change it though because those letters are different. When you put the whole Greek god perspective in actual Greek, those letters are different. So we'll talk later. No big deal.
Okay. Yeah, but you like the Greek flag inside the text?
Absolutely. Language, Greenhorn.
Absolutely. You did a fantastic job, dude. Thank you.
It's cool because those T-shirts probably prevented a few deaths in Atlanta. So it looks like I'm gonna sit in front of his computer and create something rather than destroy something.
Yeah.
Or someone or many people.
I guess our guest Ian Ferguson tonight looks like he might be in Atlanta as well, Stevie. So if you
is he in Atlanta? I know he's in the area. That's where he lives, right? That's where that deal went down.
Yeah.
What's the cat's name again?
Ian Ferguson.
Right? He's on the train
Ferguson.
guy. Is that who again?
I'm sorry, what was that?
Colin Ferguson, the guy from the train.
He has no idea what you're talking about. The dude from the LIR.
Come on, you don't remember him?
You don't? That was right at the Nassau Boulevard stop up on the LIR. He shot up.
Is that only a New York thing? Like,
yeah, I guess so.
Yeah, I never heard of it.
You guys remember Bernard Getz? Anybody? No.
Oh yeah.
All right. Yeah. You guys see the trailer? You guys saw the trailer for that Charles Manson movie I posted? You guys
with the doctor in it, right?
Yeah. Pretty interesting.
Yeah,
kind of looks like him too, which is scary.
But look at it, dude. Like, it's just the quick Hollywood catch. Like, Ted Bundy got a series, and that shit got over. Just the buzz. Manson's got to have one. Here comes Zodiac Killer, and we're doing this one too. Like, it's just going to be one after the other now.
Oh yeah, it's a new flavor of ice cream.
Yeah.
But what's his name?
Matt Smith.
No. The dude who did Pulp Fiction, he's doing a Charles Manson movie now too.
Tarantino is.
with I think the.
I wish he
Ocean
would
and
come back. I
everything.
wish he would come back with Kill Bill 3 with the daughter.
He will. That'll probably be a swan song.
Yeah.
Do you think they finally came out with the movies because he's dead now and he's not going to get any of the money?
Probably.
Yeah.
Well, he wasn't going to get any of the money anyway. That kept him that law, that Gacy law.
Yeah.
Joe
Yeah.
Gacy, yeah, man, good worker.
yeah.
Shout out to Joe Gacy.
Yeah, fuck Joe Gacy. He won't fight me.
Joe
He's scared
Gacy.
of me. No, shout out Joe Gacy. You know who's that's Ambrose's first match on the Indies is Gacy.
Probably.
No, it is. It's booked already. So good for Joe, man.
What do you mean his first match on the Indies?
He's not re-signing.
Oh, with the E?
Yeah, come on. This guy doesn't. He's so out of the loop.
I thought they let him go, but now I hear he's back on TV.
No,
I
he
mean,
just didn't re-sign his contract, and it ends before
So he
Mania.
didn't get fired like a month ago when they did all the releases.
No, and they're just shitting on his wife now and everything. Here's something I wanted to get away from entertainment because I don't know if we're going to get time to talk about it. How about that motherfucker Pell in Australia getting sentenced for child molestation yesterday? What do you think he got? He had he had 5 counts. Pretty much forcing 2 altar boys in the same room to give him head. Then he gets one against the wall and he pulls his own cock out, starts diddling it. And while he's giving a hand job to the kid at 13, they both witnessed it. He gets, and there was one other one too that happened later where he pinned the kid against the wall. But all 5 counts found guilty of that. Like legit, you're gonna suck my dick here, 13-year-old kid behind the choir room. How much time do you think he got?
4 years.
I'm gonna say 4. I'm gonna pull up prices right, and I'm gonna say 4 years and 1 day.
he got 6 years, and he got 3 years probation.
Now, here's the question. Do you think they're going to let him go
dude.
with that 6 years?
Well, no, here's the thing, dude. I watched the whole hour. You should have. Oh, no, definitely not. I wouldn't give him 6 days. Fuck that dude.
Australian prisoners.
Forget about it.
They're going to let him get anywhere near 6 years.
But the way the judge sucked off the Catholic Church, I thought he was getting abused back in his chambers, dude. Like, he laid it all out that this wasn't going to be reflection of the church. Dude, we've got over 700 cases in the church, and this guy's the top guy in Australia, the top dude, and he's getting 6 fucking years on 5 counts.
Yeah, well, that's what we were talking about before, that this guy, we thought either he was somebody that they finally caught, or he was about to flip on them. And that promo by the judge is very suspicious to say, hey, it's not the church, meaning that this guy who was in charge of the money was going to do or say something.
Yeah.
And they exposed him really quick. So now this guy will be dead quicker or sooner rather than later, so he can keep his mouth shut. If I were him, the last thing he could do to probably save whatever soul he thinks he has is to basically just in the courtroom, he should have stooged everything off.
They could have. They wouldn't even cut to him. They stayed on a one shot with the judge for an hour and 20 minutes, dude. Like no reaction, nothing. Go ahead.
I got pissed off because I think Brent Logan tagged us on it on Facebook, on Facebook Live. Shout out to Brent. And I was listening and driving at the same time, and I hear the bullshit. You're 77 years old. It reminded me of James Comey, why he didn't prosecute Hillary Clinton on the the last 5 minutes of that 15-minute promo, where the first 10 minutes he's saying guilty, 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 guilty. She did it, she did it, she did it. But we felt like she didn't do it maliciously, so we're not going to follow. Same thing. I got the same vibe, and I got so angry I had to turn it off. Because I knew he was going to fucking get nothing.
Dude, I thought even to me, nothing is like double digit 12 years. Like that's still nothing. Each one of those counts is each one of those. Yeah, but if you're talking the reality of what it is, each one of those counts found guilty, 5 years, should be 15 years, 75 years, possibility for parole in 25 to 50 or something. You know what I mean? Like that's a. Because I agree with Sal totally. He might get 6 hours and that motherfucker's dead. So the time doesn't matter. It's the setting of a precedent that you have 5 counts of child molestation and it equals 6 years. Fuck you. That judge is in on it, and he should be investigated immediately.
And at 6 years, it could be good behavior. He can be out in like 1 or 2.
Yeah.
with the probation. Why did they stack on a probation afterwards if there wasn't a chance that he could?
Right.
And they could even turn around and secretly suspend the sentence
and send them.
people knowing
They're
about it.
they're already relocating all those dudes who were able to evade to that island. There's all most of those guys in that 700 club are hanging out there in some island together, just trying to keep a lid on it,
Somebody
dude.
had mentioned to me today, we were talking about this, and they said, statistically speaking,
Oh,
The
fuck
Catholic-
that guy.
wait.
I asked you who he was. Was he a
that's-
friend of yours?
yeah.
Oh.
So he says, statistically speaking, that there's just as much abuse from schools and teachers because kids are at school every day, and not every kid is exposed to priests. And I'm like, but the fact is, every kid who is exposed to priest is fucking molested, apparently. Like, it just doesn't wash out that way to me.
I agree.
And I understand if you want to, I guess you want to look at it, and yes, the media is sensationalizing it now because it's a great, hook for them to throw out every now and then.
Mm-hmm.
But I just don't see the statistics being that teachers are fucking more kids than priests are.
Yeah, but for after everything that happened, to talk about, and that I think the movie was Spotlight talking about it up there in Boston too. That movie that came out. There's been a pattern throughout all the archdioceses and now
Right.
in the Vatican itself
Yes.
that stuff is going on, not only to young boys, but now the nuns are sex slaves and all this other
Yes.
stuff on both ends. And
Yeah,
for a
the
judge-
non-sex slave comes out, right, dude? Like,
Well,
and the
for-
cocaine thing with the gay call boys, like all this fucking shit just
Yeah, they
stacks
caught
so
that
high.
they did the raid of them with all the drugs and everything. But what I'm saying is, all that stuff, even though it's kind of not the precedent of this exact case, it's enough circumstantial evidence to look at that and certainly not cut a promo to shut down any sort of culpability by the Catholic Church. If anything, he said, this seems to be the beginning of hopefully won't be an epidemic level of sexual abuse. We should stay vigilant to this so people like this guy don't get away with not 5, but not even 1.
No.
For
There's
him to
there's
say-
no fear. Remember how we talk about these dudes need to be looking over their shoulder, getting no sleep at every fucking turn. 6 years equals no fear. Like a minimum 75 years of pound me in the ass prison time is scary to somebody who's thinking about doing that, whoever the young closeted 19-year-old up-and-comer is over there and who thinks he might do it. When he sees the dude who molested him go down for 75 years, he might fucking think twice 20 years from now instead of doing it. But 6 years, fuck that. By that time, this shit will be normalized. We'll all be fucking little kids. It'll just be the way God wanted it.
It's disturbing. It's disgusting. All these fucking guys need to be fucking taken to the back of the woodshed and beaten with a fucking
Not in the
spike
back.
bat.
They need it right in the fucking front. Like, they
No,
love
because if
Jesus
you do it
so
in the
much, they
back-
need it the fucking same way. Let them do the walk of
do it in the-
shame and wail the fuck out of them the whole way.
I agree with you, but if you do it in the back of the woodshed, you don't have to clean up. You do it in the front of the woodshed. You got the driveway. You got the front of the house. You want it to look nice.
Fuck it. I'll do it at their
Yeah,
house and
there's
I'll
a
light a
driveway
match
to the
afterwards.
woodshed.
Yeah, that's
What kind
Oh,
of
man.
fancy shit is this?
Yeah, I would
I was looking at some
Halloween
properties
decorations.
in
yeah.
Swarma?
Shawarma.
Swarma.
Swarma.
Swerva.
Yeah, put over Triple H again. Yeah.
Yeah, Russo's like, we didn't go to India last night. I'm like, we didn't go to India. You fucking game beat Jinder there. You
No,
definitely.
I said it. I was just
Oh, did
I was
you?
feeding you on that.
Oh yeah,
He
yeah, yeah.
still claims 100%. Everybody in the chat room and all you guys who aren't in Master Chief Theater, he claims that we talked about it when shit had just happened like 20 minutes before.
Dude, we're doing things off SmackDown, and like I'm improvising over the top of it, and and they're like, he's like, bro, there's no way you guys didn't come up with that earlier. Like, yeah, like we have the info on what's going on in SmackDown, so I can write my improv later about it, dude. Imagine if WWE had that power. It'd be over. A lot of great heads here in the chat room. Tuttle 17, Monroeville Mahler, Jay Reezy. Man, appreciate you guys. Sun Tzu 1 in there as well. Sonic the Great, I believe it is. And, I'm sure the rest will be joining us here very quickly. We just wanted to go out early and bring our little locker room talk and Trigger Fest before we get on the air. Give you guys that because we're all here. We have Adriana DiCiccio joining us again, Ian Ferguson, and Raven tonight. Hopefully, all technology and guests line up and we get things in order here. But ya Allah, infidels, it's hackerhameen.podbean.com, it's russobrand.com, it's YouTube / Stevie Richards, it's StevieRichardsFitness.com, it's ProWrestlingTees.com, you know what it is. But it's the Conspiracy Horsemen at the end of the day, the one place for truth and expose all the bullshit that goes on in the media, and the place for free thought where you're in on the real locker room talk, infidels. So ya Allah, hear me now, it's your Conspiracy Horsemen. Yes, y'all. Take it away, GGP. You had something to say, bro.
Yeah, I was gonna say 2 things that happened today was that weird funkiness in Facebook where you couldn't post anything and you couldn't put up a picture. I'm still.
You're welcome. You're welcome.
Yeah.
Hacker Hameen shut them all down. I was done with it today. I was done with all the Mark opinions. You guys coming at Stevie or coming at anybody else. We warned you. And I'm not going to shut your account down. I'm shutting all of Facebook down because that's what Hacker Hameen does. I'll teach everybody the hard lesson. So you've got Twitter left, but use it wisely, infidels, or that may be gone tomorrow too.
Well, the second thing I wanted to say was what came into light today was Lisa Page admitting that the Obama DOJ ordered a stand down on the Clinton email prosecution, which is fucking horseshit in itself.
Is that prosecutable now? I mean, that story's coming through foxnews.com. You know, it's pretty much everywhere out there. It was sat on for how long? That's one thing we've taught. I mean, we've gone so big at Hillary, obviously, for so many reasons. But Obama, man, he's done some real worker shit and shut the fuck up and stayed small since he left, hasn't he? Like, I think,
yes,
this is one of the first things where they're really going to come back at him here.
And unfortunately, Lori Loughlin got arrested. And Uncle Jesse can't bail him out because he's too busy banging some Oikos.
Yeah, dude, but let's
somewhere.
talk. I mean, that's a rib, but at the same time, we're talking about Yale. We're talking about Skull and Bones, secret societies, upper-level families, DuPonts, all that shit.
Of course. So I get home yesterday, and my wife is, you have to see. Oh, my God, did you see? I don't care. I don't care about any of these people. Go fuck yourself. I don't care about any of these fucking celebrities.
Give me one more. Give me one more. Wife, did you see?
Oh, did you see? But what I want to know is how come Felicity Huffman got fucked and she only spent like $15,000 on her kid? Lachlan spent like $2 million on their fucking kids. I'm like, where was the discount? Like,
I think maybe it's based on SAT scores. Like her kid actually did get a 1200, and the other one got like a 740. Like these fucking two idiots you're gonna have to fucking pay up for these two retards. These two retards can't get in.
Kids in, but you owe me like $2 mil easy. You and your fucking your fashion designer husband.
Yeah, man. I mean, again, at the end of the day, I like that it's a little bit of Hollywood swamp drain and they pay the price to be exposed for what they do to stay on top. But it's just some Americana Schadenfreude, to revel in somebody else's misery. It is exposing some elitism, but I'd rather get a little more hard hitting than Full House.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, do you not think people have paid to get their shit kids into college? Yeah. For how long? Or even if celebrity alumni shit. That's the whole point of alumni is to give fucking handies and blowies to people you need to get your kid into college for. And here's a little extra, here you go, a little golf.
Shit, they might bring Bill Cosby back out to charge him with new crimes in that case. That motherfucker has 6 colleges. Who knows what scholarship you had to do to get a scholarship to Cosby University. Holy shit.
Think about it. Think about the antiquated model of education. This kind of proves that more than ever about how much of a work college is, and unfortunately, even any sort of schooling from being small in first grade on, and how it's just basically indoctrination and it's just going through the motions. If you play a sport, obviously you're going to get a degree, by de facto. You know what I mean? How many college players or basketball players or football players come out and don't have any sort of real world skills? It's just and we're really getting away from wrestlers. What's that?
Yeah,
They
some of
become
us went to
wrestlers.
college and still became wrestlers. How stupid are
Oh,
we?
I just want to say, Stevie, I am sorry. I'm sorry about this. This really has to be tough on you. Because now
Well-
this is one of the big fucking Hallmark Channel chicks hitting the fucking dirt.
That's it.
So now if Candace Cameron gets busted, you will have nothing to watch.
If.
No, who's the one that they Lacey
When?
Lacey Carebard or some whatever her name, Care Bear, whatever her name is.
You know her
That's
name.
the one. She's the,
You
she's
know
the
her name.
flag bearer. She's like the fucking John Cena of Hallmark. So if she gets brought down, and it's,
You'll
they have, dude, that's
I
more
say-
interchangeable to what we watch every Monday and Tuesday. You put anybody in there.
I say you
Oh,
and your
shit.
wife, you put your names in that hat and that ring to be the next Hallmark Channel
I like
people.
it. I like it.
Why
We'll get
women don't yell at their husbands on Hallmark Channel? What are you talking about?
That means
I
off
had
camera.
to
That means
swear.
off camera. They're
Mario,
twice as
what's
crazy.
wrong with you?
I was driving home from work and I came up with an entire PR plan for you. Number one, we're going to get you on Rachel Ray in your workout segment. Just
Dude,
so
I
you
was
can have
thinking
no
the same
shirt on,
thing, dude. After
no
listening,
shirt on, and fucking fat Rachel Ray could be pawing him like a fucking pork roast. She'd be like, look at Stevie.
you're how old? No,
Don't
you're
tell me
not
Bill
that
Reese is
old.
There too,
Oh,
with
and
his
she'll
voice.
they're all of those cows
Dude.
in the audience will be like, look at Steve. Ooh.
After listening to Breaking Sal, I agree 100%. Like you
Right?
got to be ready to. I mean, we're workers. Like this is the time, dude. I know 2 or 3 people that can get us close to that point. Maybe not for the Horseman show, but for the fucking jerk off shill out show to sell out Stevie Richards.
All we got to do, get Stevie on Rachel Ray.
That's it,
He'll
bro.
go, hey guys, look, Cool Whip and peanut butter. She'll go, oh, that's great. And all you'll hear is the squish from the audience because Stevie will be all oiled up in a tank top, in an SRF tank top. with the
SRF.
bands-
Yep.
Yeah, the band's hanging over him, and then he just mixed the Cool Whip with some peanut butter, and you hear, oh, that's wonderful, everybody.
Keto.
You know what
This
the-
is
you know what the-
keto,
you know what the
everybody.
thing is?
I heard about keto.
Ooh, keto. Yeah, my neighbor's on it. She lost 6 pounds.
I thought Keto was the Green Hornet sidekick. I was
It
wrong.
is. That's him too.
Oh, I was all scared because I thought it was an Asian guy, but it's not. No, look at his abs.
I'm
No, the
telling you,
Asian guy
that,
made the
guys.
bands.
Unfortunately, people that are listening and watching, they're absolutely right. This shit fucking works. It
yeah.
actually works. It's
Well, here's
so
the deal.
sad.
We'll get you on Rachel Ray.
And then you go right to Hallmark.
Well, no, even better. Even better. Okay? We'll get you on Rachel Ray. She'll rub elbows with her peeps. Her peeps will get you on Shark Tank. You'll get a fucking bigger offer.
And
for a
make sure you rub
product
up on that old dust cunt. What's her name?
right?
Yeah.
Rub right up on
You'll
her.
get a bigger offer.
Yeah.
You'll turn it down. And then you'll do a program that actually works. It continues to work consistently for the long term, obviously. And then, and only then, will you be able to buy yourself a Tesla
No.
and drive that shit.
That's
right
when
to
we
the other
fund the
guy's
horse.
living
That's
room.
when we fund the Horseman show. That's what we do with that money. So get oiled up, buddy, because it's
It
your
all sounds
time.
like thank you.
Get
It
your
all
nipples
sounds
out,
just
kid.
all great except for the being close to women part could get me murdered.
Well,
So that
Oh,
you got to
she'll know-
take
no,
one for
she
the team.
understands.
because our next shows we got to watch are those Snapped on Dayline ID.
That's
Those
it.
are the next ones, which I think me and Sal will watch on one of our episodes of Breaking Sal. Go through it.
Excellent, man. Excellent. We're about
seriously
to
what
see if she's
Go
here.
ahead, come on,
No,
hold
go
on.
ahead, take it. I'm going to see if she's
Now,
online.
is that what we're actually calling it? Like, I just thought that was like
Breaking Sal is a
I love it.
fucking name,
I
right?
don't get it.
I like it, dude.
All about
Why don't
you.
you get it? It's great, man.
Just pissing off Sal every week. with a new topic.
It doesn't even have to be like that. It's just, he's going to talk about the worst things in the world and how to solve them.
It's a catchy name. I like it.
I like it too. And it works. Trying to
What are we
dial
doing?
up
What's going
aid.
on here? Let's go. Unprofessional fucking greenhorns.
Well, to all the viewers out there and all you listeners out there, tomorrow,
Says she's
thanks to our buddy Big Ray, my Star Wars podcast drops. No, pottery. No, the Greeks invented pottery. But regardless of that, the new podcast, New Force Orders, drops tomorrow with our first episode. So I give you guys an opportunity to take a listen and enjoy it. I think it's going to be one hell of a good podcast for people who love Star Wars. And it's not a spoilers-induced or speculative podcast. It's just
Heard
two
you got rid
guys.
of that awful Mike Johnson. You just catapulted him out the window.
No, my buddy Mike wasn't able to make it. He's unfortunately under the weather, so he'll
Get a
probably
little
be
buzz
on.
for this. Get a little
He'll,
heat going.
No, I like Mike. I'm not
The
gonna get too
controversy.
Mike. No. But
You want to make the
regardless,
sheets, don't you? Fuck.
Yeah, make the sheets. You fucking booted
listen,
him out. You were like, I
Sheets,
heard all about him. Boot.
Sheets makes good deli sandwiches. That's about it.
Adriana not online right now, so we'll just keep
She's
on.
probably in the kitchen making a sandwich.
Oh wow,
Bang.
strong,
Holy shit.
strong, right out of the gate.
By the way, are you going to address the SJW agenda on those movies?
Yeah, we talked about it. We did talk about it on the podcast last night. So it was addressed a little something, but it is what it is.
Rat Salad Review in the chat rooms asked me, "Hey Ben, do I take show submissions?" I mean, if you have something produced, that is, I'm not gonna lie to you, man. I kind of try and vet my
You have
staff
to
pretty.
pay all of us $499
Jesus
to our
Christ.
PayPal each.
You're all fired. Are you talking about him, not me? I was like, holy shit, I'm $500.
Why would we charge you? Dude? Come on.
I got nervous. But on the reel for Hameen Media, guys work on the arm, and it's the fact that we came up through WrestleZone, and obviously my connection to legitimize the brand through the industry and to bring in my friends who I trust like this to be pundits alongside
And us.
people who were fans who upped their game. I mean, Big Ray's doing a great job. He's producing this show. He produces stuff for Bill Apter. He's always been in the game, but it took me 2 years of schooling Ray's mind to do that. And, he's
Take the belt off.
some lessons are hard to learn. I had to go through it too. Everyone's a dumb fuck when you first start in this shit. So if it's something good, that's fine. But dude, I get tagged. Here's the real. I get tagged in so many of your guys' podcasts on Twitter of like, will you listen, retweet it? Dude, I don't even have time to listen to the good stuff that my fucking channel produces, let alone listen and take offense if you want to Mark podcasts who fucking have no biz in the industry whatsoever, any experience. Why would I take my time to listen to that? I appreciate that you're creating content. That's awesome. Get your grind on, enjoy it, do it all. But unless you kind of got an established audience already, the value for us doing that and me taking on somebody who I have to fucking school all over again, I just do not have the time. But produce your shit, man. I mean, build your own empire. Alex Jones said it, and I fucking had heat with WrestleZone after the shit went down there, and I said, fuck it. That's what I'm going to do. And in 18 months' time of hustle and grind, here the fuck we are. Okay, so if I can do it, you can do it for what your niche is. Go ahead.
Okay. Here's the idea. You have the Hameen Media Group over here. You open a subsidiary media platform over here. You put all the fan shows that they give to you on the platform.
Okay.
And we call it the Hall of Marks. And it's run by
the Hall of Marks channel.
Yes.
Stevie, you can armchair that. That's a wonderful idea. I mean, here you go. I mean,
during March, we have Mark Madness. See, it sounded so much better yesterday when I thought of it. I was like, I popped myself. I'm like, that is so fucking clever. Mark Madness. It'll be great. And then I told you guys, I was like, it's shit the bed. And I tried to revive it. I'm like, it sounds funny again. And it just doesn't.
It was strong.
Maybe we give that to Russo and they'll still probably be around next year, or we do it this year. Mark Madness, and then they have a tournament to see who the biggest mark is.
I like that. I like that.
It's like the Final Four and everything. By the way, Adriana, something came up.
Oh, okay.
And she has to go do something for some rally or something, so she has to cancel.
Okay.
How
all right.
dare you.
I'm
Probably
calling her.
drop the salami.
Wow,
Jesus, that was your guest, and you're doing all these innuendos.
It's a
you
joke,
doing, man?
It's a joke. Calm down.
I can't wait for you to tell it to her face.
Yeah, I can't wait. I'm gonna have to pull her off you.
Hold on, so you don't have to pull her.
Yeah, right.
All right, so we got about 45 minutes before.
We got about 10 minutes actually before we call Ian Ferguson.
Oh, that's right. Oh, that works out perfect then.
So.
Way to not remember Ian Ferguson.
Oh, I'm sure the guy behind the counter will never forget him.
Yeah.
Maybe we can give a little introduction to that before he comes on, or do you want to wait till he comes on to talk about what happened? Because it actually was, by this point, I guess, with the news cycle quite some time ago.
Well, I mean, it was just a month ago. You guys probably saw it. Obviously, our fan base. I think so. It was in January. It was New Year. It might have ended January, I think. So probably just.
It was like A year ago. Like
February
6 months
rips
ago.
by though too. So you guys saw this. He goes into a vape shop, and because he's got a politically pro-Trump shirt on, the dude refuses him service and then has a complete meltdown. So I'm looking forward. He kind of became Insta celeb. Overnight, and look forward to talking with him like what that was about, plus the fallout or what he has kind of planned for this spring. Because I feel like he's going to end up kind of being, and I'll say this to him, a Joe the Plumber type dude. They're going to use him to that degree. So, because he looks like our brand, he almost looks. Who he looks like to me is Blake Troop. Like he's kind of the same type dude, right? That's the dude you got heat with, right? The MMA
Goof
guy.
Troop, yeah.
Who, Goof Troop?
Goof Troop.
No, listen,
Well,
dude.
but like he looks like that. He could be an MMA guy. He could be a wrestler. He could be a soldier. He could just be a gym rat type dude. You know what I mean? Like that's kind of the embodiment of the stereotype of what Antifa is looking at as bro culture. You know what I mean? These guys who came back from war and all that shit. So we'll see, man. Well, I look forward to. We got 9 minutes out, so let's not ruin it too much on them. What else you guys want to talk about? We've been
You
trading.
want to read some emails or something before
Well,
you get on?
we got 9 minutes. We've been trading enough in the Horseman chat. There's got to be something that we can touch on real quick.
We can make fun of Chris Envy for 9 minutes. That's always entertaining.
Why waste the time? The one thing I saw from Secure Team 10, remember that flyby footage from the International Space Station with the 3 triangles?
Oh, the 3 Fuji footballs?
Somebody found the stock footage and the overlay, and that was made in After Effects. As real as that looked, it was faked. So and here's how good of a fake it was. So they not only did they cut the ships out and make each one's motion individual instead of just like cloning 3 of them and moving them across the screen in After Effects, and they put like a little force field energy field around the outside, so when you zoom in, it looks like it's energized. When you're just looking at it, it doesn't look like that. And they sped it up. I think it was to like 1600 speed. So that's how far you had to slow it down just to catch a screen grab of it. Not just like faking a still. Like that's high level video faking. And for what?
Give this guy a job.
And for what purpose? And maybe he's got a job already. That's the interesting part. You know what I mean?
Good point.
So like that video was very convincing just based on the fact of how it had to be deconstructed to even show the ships. Now think of that in the reverse way of like, they're going to deconstruct this. We have to do all this just to get to the point of the still. That's some crazy fucking disinformation level shit.
Yeah. But again, now this is going to lead to everybody just going, oh, it's fake, and just throwing everything off. Like absolutely everything you give them, you go fake. Like there was and I wish I could remember the guy's name. He worked. I want to say he worked for Disney or one of those, and he used to make all his videos with his kid. Remember, like the kid was flying. He did Superman videos with the kid. He did like all these different videos with his kid that looked friggin' amazing.
Michael Jackson?
Almost, but those videos we still haven't released. So kayfabe. But like he did all those videos that it was just like they looked so real. And obviously, aside from like the kid teleporting through walls or the kid lifting a house. So, but that was the point. It was just like this guy took their technology on his lunch break in his spare time to make these fucking videos that were absolutely outstanding. And you're gonna get, and this was years ago.
Yeah, this guy, that's the dude who was doing his kid jumping on lava rocks and shit, all that.
Right. Now, fast forward to what they have access to now, and people who are smartened up and they want to throw something out there to fuck everybody up. They want to do the fake Bigfoot site and the fake UFO site. And
let's stop right there. We shared that in the thing, and I almost got to put it over. What's his name? Jimmy. I'm gonna butcher this one. Is it Greek? Samelis? Is that his last name?
Yeah.
Is that right? Have I got it right?
DJ Mass?
Yeah.
He's in Australia too.
Doing great creator wrestlers for us, where he takes our actual faces into Photoshop, does the layer mask to bring out the 3D, and then puts them on the creator wrestler. And then you guys shared today that Facebook is going to be creating possible, if they aren't already, avatar accounts that are super real, dude. This guy, the shit he's sending us in chat, you can, on my Facebook, Ben Hameen, that's just a quick one that he did, man. He sent me like 6 or 7 different versions of me with gear. I'm going to fucking take that to the gear maker just to be like, recreate this shit right here, you know what I mean? And also give me bigger arms like he fucking.
Well, I was going to say, my favorite, did you see, when he sent me Papadons?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
At first, I thought all I saw was a thumbnail. I go, who the fuck is this?
Yeah.
And you were beyond jacked.
Yeah.
And all I kept thinking about, I was like, I remember when they showed us like a sculpt for like Roadkill's Fig, and his arms were massive. He had the biggest fucking jacked arms I've ever seen. And then the sculpt that they said they were going to do for mine, I was tremendous. I was like, but yeah, it didn't look like that. But your drawing looked amazing.
Yeah, they're
Then
crazy.
I saw Ben's, and Ben had these fucking abs for days. Going on.
That's why I actually had to work arms harder. Yeah, he sent that to me. He goes, "How's this?" I go, "Well, you got to make the tits about 2 cups bigger, and you'll be halfway there."
Well, he's like, "Yeah, I'm almost done with Ben. I'm done with Papa Don, and I'm waiting to hear. Yeah, I did Stevie's. I don't have enough fucking screen room for you though." And I'm like, "Oh, so I didn't get mine yet."
He's working on yours,
Stevie,
right? That's why.
Did he send you yours, Stevie?
Yeah. Like last week, I shared it in the messenger. It's just black pants and then the Conspiracy Horseman shirt.
Well, Rat Salad
Yeah.
Review in the chat says we need some Horseman figures. Well, that's what he's doing next. He and I are working on a project to try and get the 3D spin out of it and me piece it back together in a 3D program. And right now I'm on a 6-day print. You can probably hear it in the background of a little something for GGP, a little special gift.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Thank
something
you.
for you,
Appreciate
pal.
it.
I'm gonna get you. I'm gonna get you in the choir room. Well, I'll give you 6 years in probation. Yeah.
What about it? You don't want to do the
put the
Funko
probe
Pops?
in probation. Yeah.
What's that?
Funko Pops, Ben? You're not into
Funko,
them?
yeah, I'll Funko Pop all over your face, pal. Yeah, Spunko Pops, yeah.
Funko Pop, yeah. Hey.
Oh, by the way, should we, while we're waiting for this guy, should we let everybody know what we're doing tomorrow night at 8 p.m.?
Oh yeah, tomorrow night if you're a Russo brand subscriber, and we'll probably ask Vince too if we can get the download a little later, because this is exclusive Russo brand content. Stevie and I are going to be on with Razor Fist to talk about the Michael Jackson, the Michael
Hey,
Jackson.
all 4 of us. I assumed it was all of us coming on.
Oh, is it all of us?
No, I don't know.
He told me it was you and I. I don't know.
This is amazing. I love hearing breaking news.
Well, I heard about it last night too. I thought it was just you and I because these guys are.
B team over here.
These guys are nice.
Roll. That's fine.
Yeah, you guys are the Kofi Kingston
And
crew.
who put this together?
Russo.
Uncle Vince.
Russo did, yeah. So
You guys are gonna-
he's
I can't
gonna.
wait to get Jim Cornette on the fucking show next week. Oh, this is gonna be fucking.
on the new Force Order show.
Yeah, no, it'll.
You guys are going to be on with Moose Knuckle, and you guys are going to do what? You're going to yell at each other? Or
We're
is
gonna
that
go
what's
back and forth and strategize. So tomorrow we'll game plan it in the chat on how we'll best
You
deal
wear
with
a
it.
pink and black jacket.
Maybe, but 8 p.m. tomorrow night. I'm sure he'll put a little of it on Twitch on Russo's brand, and it should be interesting to say the least. We'll see if this guy's in gimmick and tuned up, because that's going to be a whole nother goddamn thing to deal with before we ever get to the truth. But I think we'll agree on more than we disagree on, and at the end of the day, if he drops the gimmick, I think you're going to see some reasonable thought. Otherwise, he's just,
The dude made valid points in his argument.
can't deny it.
But the presentation is the shits. He comes off like an ass clown.
Well, he's
And-
Wait,
one
where
guy
did you hear this
screaming
guy
at a
from?
camera. Dude, he just took Alex's gimmick. He took Alex's rage gimmick. It says it
the
right
guy
in the
who sits in
opening.
the car?
No.
This was the dude who looked like Bret Hart with the glasses on.
Yeah,
I don't have any idea.
He,
I'm not pulling a disco. I really don't
What'd
know
you
who
call
the
him?
guy
The
is.
Stallone movie, the fucking
Cobra, dude.
Cobra. Yeah. So
Fucking pig.
yeah.
Fucking pig.
Want to bleed, pig?
Well, I'll send them to you tomorrow. There's 2 videos, Razor Fist.
Yeah, please do.
He's constant aggression, like, God damn it, you idiots. Like, that's a half hour of that, but
Do you
like,
guys remember that guy from Staten Island who sits in the car and he bitches? And
yeah.
Yeah, I thought that was who you were talking about.
You mean Vito?
No, I meant somebody I actually watched.
And Vito coming back to
Feel
Russo
free
brand
to
as well.
applaud your Christmas gift.
That as well. So
Oh, is he really?
Yeah. So let's try and see if we can get Ian first.
Men some
here.
fences? Is that what happened?
Yo, Sal, we're gonna do a run-in tomorrow, 8 o'clock. That's it.
Yeah, man. I don't have a problem with that.
Well, I have no problem with it. That's cool, I guess. I just
If
didn't know.
if Uncle Vince don't like it, tough shit.
Well, no. If he
Yeah,
gives us the
dude,
number,
we'll send you the
call in.
We'll send you the Hangouts link. I don't give a shit.
I was gonna say, like, can we give us the phone number? We'll call in.
Hello.
Hello, Ian Ferguson. You're on with the Conspiracy Horsemen, Ben Hameen, Stevie Richards, Greek God popping on, and Sal Valente. But welcome, man. Thanks for joining us, bro.
Gentlemen, how y'all doing today?
Doing well.
Come
Yourself?
on, man.
Yeah, man. So we wanted to have you on earlier. We're glad we could get you on, man, because we wanted to hear a little bit about your experience. We all saw your viral video. We watched you kind of make the media tour afterwards, and the dust has settled a little bit. But I'm sure your activism is strong and ready for this spring. Could you tell us a little bit about what your experience of kind of going viral and everybody kind of hitting you up and talking about this whole thing has been, man?
It's been some ups and downs.
Sorry, I just going to cut you off. Can you tilt your camera down just a little bit? Because I just got the top of your hat. Perfect.
That's triggering half the planet.
Yeah.
Oh, so, if you build it, they won't come.
Yeah.
Oh,
Nice.
Yeah, credits to TrumpTasticShop.com. They hooked me up with a whole bunch of gear.
Nice.
Let's see. So since the thing went viral, I don't know. We had like 4 solid days after that my phone went off like it was just a vibrator. It didn't stop. Did you know you can only have 1,000 friend requests on Facebook at a time? Didn't know that. It maxes out. You max out at 5,000 friends. I knew none of this. I had like 170 people on my list before this. I was kind of a private individual. But so while I was getting all these friends requests, messages, people telling me how much it meant to see somebody stand up for conservatism and rah rah rah, my wife was getting death threats and we want to fuck your husbands, and man, like it rocked our boat significantly.
Yeah.
Whatever.
We just saw that with Tommy over in the UK kind of this week, is him getting out and releasing the Pano drama documentary, and Antifa and a lot of people just trying to post up to do selfies to make his kids and his family their whereabouts, doing real scumbag shady shit. And you weren't even out for blood really that day. I don't think you were out trying to trigger. I mean, you got your political gear on, but as pro wrestlers, we see the money in this and the booking of you versus this kid in a ring in a worked fight. But
I'm with you. I'm with you. No, seriously, my dad, I was seriously considering holding like red versus blue backyard fights until I found out that it's felonious in the state of Georgia. I don't need any more felonies.
yeah.
So, got enough, no more. Look, give me a sanctioned fight. Absolutely.
Yeah, it's something we could work. But I was going to ask, have you seen this dude who went off since that or anything like that? Is because even if it's not in a wrestling ring where we operate, I feel there's value in money in what's going to really happen in the next election. I think the person who's going to get elected isn't going to be a far pendulum person. The message of the uniter is who's going to get over more, and you have an opportunity to maybe facilitate that a little bit to show I can come back hat in hand, even though I was the one taking the heat here, and still be the bigger man. That's the opportunity for them to either swing their pendulum back to the center or cut their own throats and bury themselves further. Like you're giving them opportunity to fuck themselves or heal the divide a little bit.
See, agreed. Though I don't think a sanctioned fight would be the way to go about that. That's not. It's somewhat divisive, not inclusive.
Right. I mean, just even a verbal face-to-face talking mediated session. It doesn't even need to be phony ass wrestling,
Hey, that was actually, they tried to arrange that. And Alex Jones was interested in it. And then Dr. Phil's show was interested in it. I thought for sure the kid would come out of hiding for Dr. Phil and a trip to LA, but he's not doing it.
No shit.
No,
Huh?
the dude's in a safe space somewhere, crying his eyes away. Come on.
You know what I think is amazing, Ian, that you were very, very calm during that whole thing with the kids screaming at you and yelling at you and cursing at you. But what I think is even more amazing is that your car seems to be actually moving during Atlantic traffic hour. That's more amazing than anything I've seen in quite some time.
Look,
I live in
here's
Smyrna, by the way.
well, here's the trick to 75 south during traffic. You get in the far right lane and just ride that. It's the only lane that continuously dumps out. And just back and forth between the right two lanes. That's your trick to 75 south.
There it is.
Well, that's because everybody's dying from car accidents in the right lane, so they're putting it in the shoulder. It's always cleared.
Awesome.
It's working for me.
Sal, what was your take on it when you saw that video of that guy going off? I just would love. Sal's our 7-foot giant, and I would just like to see him pound that dude into the fucking ground like a nail and a hammer. You know.
Well, I watched brother sitting here, and he was like, "Hey, I just want the juice. Just give me the juice." And he was just so calm about it. And all I kept thinking, I'm like, just go outside and wait. Turn the camera off. Go back inside and just fucking beat the shit out of this guy. let him take care of the other dude in the store. Go back in. There are no cameras in there, and just whoop that kid's ass. Or wait for him after work. I was insane. I was incensed that this little bitch was sitting behind the counter, just talking his shit too, and then took a swipe at your phone. I said, he's not swinging at him. What the fuck is happening? Like, and you kept your head, man. I sat there and I was very, very impressed. I said, this dude just kept his shit so calm.
Well, Sal, you've been on parole before. You know what it's about. Like, you can't fuck around.
But like,
I'm just messing with you. We're just messing with you, Ian, man. Go ahead, brother.
Hey, look, going back is no longer. I'm not doing that anymore. I'm not doing it any more time. So that definitely does get factored in. You want to know the real secret behind the call?
Yeah, man.
I was married to a bipolar redhead for over a decade, right?
That's how they come. There's only one type of redhead. That's bipolar, bro.
I have been well trained in how to keep cool or go to jail for it.
I was super impressed because, like, it takes me a couple seconds, and especially in a live thing going on like that, in a live interaction where the dude just crossed every fucking line.
Yeah, but the line he did not cross is the one inside of my fingertip reach. I got an imaginary line drawn around me that I can reach. If I can reach you,
put your hand down because somebody's going to take a picture and be like, this guy was throwing the fucking Nazi sign up.
Gotcha. But legitimate, if you cross that barrier, then you're now a threat. You're a credible threat. And he wasn't.
Yeah.
Oh,
no, dude.
He was
Come on.
He just annoyed the fuck out of me.
We have to deal with marks at the merch table all the time and want to act like they come up with their fake wrestling belts on and shit, like they really beat somebody and like they want to get put over. And that's exactly what this guy is. GGP, go ahead, man. You got something you want to add in there, brother?
Just the whole scenario that went down is basically a testament to how the left really thinks. They want to preach that conservatism and people on the right are the ones who are Nazis and the ones who want violence, but yet they're the ones who are the first ones to flip out and bully you verbally and physically get in your face and try to even sometimes even physically attack you. And God forbid you don't agree to their point of view, they call you every name under the sun. You're a sexist, you're a racist, you're a Nazi, you're this, you're that. But at the end of the day, I mean, all that really is just a bunch of fucking malarkey and hogwash because, I mean, the guy, he did, I mean, Ian, you did the best thing you possibly would. You didn't do a goddamn thing. And the guy basically dug himself in a hole, and his arms aren't, he don't have big arms. So it's not like he could freaking climb out of that hole, figuratively and literally. But, you did the right thing and, kudos to you, bud. And hopefully, what you did can act as some sort of precedence for other people to stand up for their, their beliefs and use that as a catalyst to stop, being afraid to speak their mind because they don't want to upset the left or the snowflakes in this world because in actuality, they're a minority of the population. The only reason why they got a big voice is because of social media. That's it. So kudos to you, homie.
Yeah.
Well, look, beyond social media, it's because they control the mainstream media.
Well, that too, yeah.
5 major networks owned by 3 guys.
Yeah.
And they're all in the same guy's pocket, so they're brainwashed. And have you seen the red and blue maps lately? I know you might remember from the electoral college, the electoral map. It's mostly red. There are pockets of blue. you've seen it recently,
I haven't seen it updated.
those blue pockets are almost non-existent. They're at major population centers on the far east and far west coasts.
Well, that explains why they want all the illegals in here so they can actually vote for them. So
Yes. Yes.
I was going to ask you before you came out, and I was like, well, you know, is it going to be an exciting spring for you because you become a name, a personality from, you know, overnight that like really should send that guy a fruit basket for making you overnight. I'm sure, you know, the death threats to your wife isn't anything you're pumped about, but, you know, could you be in a Joe the Plumber, you know, activist situation this spring and this summer as we move into election season where I'm sure plenty of parties or candidates may try and capitalize on you, but you have a real opportunity to get a message out that you want to now. And it seems like obviously the way you handled this kid, you're a man who thinks far before he reacts emotionally, more mature than that man-child mentality is. That's obviously drummed out of you at this time. Do you have any plans or ambitions that we can help promote, or where you know, causes that you're kind of behind?
Causes that I'm behind. I don't have any particular plans that I want to. All right, so I get recognized often for having done this thing, but it's really not turned into anything more than some notoriety and some face.
Well, they're gonna promise you all the shows. You'll be up for this show, and then they'll give you 5 reasons why it doesn't happen, right? Like all that bullshit.
Has the White House reached out to you at all?
No.
That'd be great.
Let's see. Yeah, I've only heard from a couple people, really. There was a bunch of podcast requests I remember came in when all this blew up. But like I said, those couple of days, 4,000 messages came in, and I still have not been able to check them all. So many kept coming in that they kept getting pushed down to the bottom, and I just never got back to them. I feel bad about it because there's a bunch of people that took the time out of their life to write some inspiring message or, you know, something to me, and it's just sitting there 2 months behind several other thousand messages. I feel bad about that sometimes. Look, an agenda that I would like you guys to help me push, and this is one that, all right, you guys familiar with QAnon?
Yes, sure.
Yeah, of course.
Like, that's the agenda that I want to push.
Okay.
I want to push Trump and whatever team he has around him managing this. They have found a way to bypass the mainstream media and speak to us directly. You understand?
Yeah, through the Reddit threads and all that, you know, everything that's being decoded.
Through Reddit, 8chan, and there's qmaps.pub. Would be a great place to start.
Okay.
It's Q drops are happening. The information's coming out, and he's talking to us. It's stuff you can't say on Twitter. You can't talk about this on the news. You understand?
Yeah.
But if you guys can look into it, promote that. Like, Trump has found a way to bypass the mainstream media and talk to us, and that is the QAnon.
Yeah, we're excited to follow up on that with what happened at the Bush senior funeral when they all got their little notes, and the QAnon stuff went with that. Go ahead, GGP. I didn't mean to cut you off, but.
No, I was going to say, so do you think all these indictments are coming down the path over the next 12 months, all these sealed indictments? You think they're going to come to fruition or what?
Oh, it's coming. I believe it's coming sooner than that. The Q drops that have been happening lately have started showing things like Punisher Head and titles with, you know, the pain's coming, now comes the pain, enjoy the show. Talking about the massive D-class that's fixing to happen. That just got I just heard about that in the news like yesterday or the day before, and they started talking about the D-class like a week ago. You understand? So it's like little sneak peeks on shit that's coming up, and I can't wait. Like, go over the last 2 years, find, and it'd be easy to Google it, the list of people that have been removed from positions, fired, terminated, or even just like handcuffs behind it, had their hands tied. Like, they have been systematically removing the vanguard between the higher ups in the deep state and you watch McCabe, Comey, Strzok, Page. They're working their way up. The guys at the top are fixing to catch it, and this D class is fixing to happen next week. I want to say it's next week.
Yeah.
It's announced when. Is he just using that as a tool to get money out of them for the wall. Either way, they're scared of it. Have you seen Pelosi all of a sudden talking about she doesn't want to impeach him anymore?
Yeah.
She knows she's done some dirt. And
Right.
They've got it, and he's trying to declass it.
Mm.
And they've been talking about it on the Q stuff for like the last couple of weeks, and then he's in the media talking about it. I love it.
I like that you're seeing it that way, and please don't take offense because we are all been in the entertainment industry, and I can tell that you're a genuine, what we would call civilian, who's not worrying about their celebrity and making money off of that shit, and now how can I cash in? But we all probably have 1,000 ideas how we would want you to cash in off it. But I totally agree that the real truth and disinformation can come through QAnon because they know they've got that channel open to the hardcores. But we're right there with you. We want to see them really burn for what it is and feet be held to the fire because we've been following this fight since pre 9/11, of everything that's been going on that way. Stevie, I know you're mesmerized the fact that he hasn't come to a complete stop yet. Go ahead, brother.
Yeah, the fuel efficiency of his vehicle is just, I'm astounded. My mouth was open, gaping open for it. The QAnon stuff and the Bush funeral envelopes were a major thing, and we're sitting here hoping every week when we record the podcast that it's going to drop, and you sort of get a little discouraged. What timeline do you think, is this something that's after Trump gets reelected that he'll really use that political capital to take these people down?
Honestly, I couldn't speak to the mind of the guy. He is brilliant in a way that I'm not, and I'm reasonably intelligent. You understand? I could not predict his timetable on that. I see him dangling. I'd like to see him use the threat of the D class to hamstring them and make them look like fools for a long time. So they'll dance on little puppet strings behind not having their secrets exposed. Get everything you want out of them, and then drop the D class anyway and screw them in the deal. They do it to you.
We would agree with that, I think, normally, but we're so burned out by the Corey Feldman not stooging off pedophiles in Hollywood. We just want people to stop playing the game and start pointing like you, and
Light
you.
them up.
Yeah,
Light them up.
gotta go,
Well, I mean, look, how much more of a glowing, blinking arrow in the sky do you need? We need to look at Obama and Hillary.
Yeah.
I mean,
we were talking about it before you came on. They've kind of, for the first time today on Fox News, put out the story of how Obama ordered the stand down of looking into Hillary's emails like it was an official order, where we said he stayed small in the locker room after he left office, and that's why the heat hasn't come on him. This is one of the first things where they could really have an aha gotcha moment from a whistleblower on him. So I think, like you said, the dominoes are starting to fall more rapidly, and I hope it's not 12 months. I hope it's 2 months that people's heads really spin on this shit.
I think it's going to happen before the next term, but legitimately, we've got another 6 years to make it happen.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
Well,
I don't know if we're confident.
Put up to run against him. Be legitimate. You're going to put that trollop AOC in there.
Who's the other?
Who they're going to have run against him that even stands a chance at this point? Sanders. Socialist Sanders, who's now being investigated by the FBI for bank fraud.
I think the Rock could come in with 5 months left and wipe the floor with all of them. To be honest,
Because I know
with you.
Biden he was saying yesterday that he was looking to come in, and he said something. He goes, "What the current president doesn't realize is that this is anyone's game." That's how he fucking won. Like, how does he not realize that? That is exactly what it is.
Right. Ian, why don't you give your social media, man, because we got to have Raven. We got to call him in just a little bit here, man. I want to thank you so much for joining us. I definitely wanted to talk to you, man. After seeing that video, we were all pumped off it because we've all had enough of Mark fans, social justice warriors, and we lived vicariously through your experiences, traumatic as it may have been at the time. We were fucking pumped for you, man. So where can you increase your following and not get followed on Facebook by people?
All right, well, you can find me at Vape Shop Patriot, Twitter or Instagram. And I'm still Ian Ferguson on Facebook. FURGESON. You just got to remember FU.
Yeah, F you, man. Well, we appreciate you, man. Thank you so much for giving us some time, bro, and get home safe in that crazy ass Atlanta traffic, dude.
Hey, man, make America great again. Thanks for having me on.
Yeah, Allah, bro. Talk to you
Take
soon.
care, bud.
Good times, great oldies. Ian Ferguson, you guys. Glad we kind of got him after the big, 4-day, 5-day. We got to have this hot property on our. We got to get this kid on from NXT. We got to get Ricochet up here. He's got to beat everybody. Let the dust settle a little bit and talk some real. And sure, that shit happened to him, but where do we go? QAnon. That's what the real dude in the trenches is looking at, and I'm sure our followers are too. It's kind of been hot and cold with that, but could be a Arab Spring, right?
I didn't want to tell you, Mike Hawes just booked him in your spot
In my spot?
for the next show.
He's
Tremendous.
yeah.
Mike Hawes just said in the chat room he just booked that kid.
He is actually
He's
gonna.
gonna save us a ton of money. He'll pay him beginner's fee. He'll give him $50 in a handshake and say hello.
He's gonna do fake Blake Troop like when they did the fake edges. And you're gonna go out there and beat the shit out of Ian Ferguson. Then Blake Troop's gonna jump you from behind.
Right.
Oh,
Blake Troop can't even freaking jumpstart a car. You got to low jumpstart me. Come on.
ooh.
I'll smack the cock out his mouth.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah.
Hey,
That'll get you 6 years and some probation. Yeah. Stevie still in his afterglow of Atlanta traffic during
Yeah,
Rush hour.
by him living in this area, it brings back so many fond memories of currently being in this. We'll talk about it on Sunday. So
oh, shit.
I'll be broken by then. He
Broken
brings up
Stevie.
great point. You bring up great points, but I think we're probably a little bit, a lot more cynical, and a lot more just grizzled by all the work of our careers and seeing this for such a long time. So I'll believe it when I see it. And if he's playing the long game, meaning Trump, by making them dance his dance, so he won't declassify anything, and then he does in the end, then that's great. But we've heard this hope and change thing before from a bunch of different people, and it's just the QAnon thing sort of mystifies me in some ways because they speak in a lot of code, and I think a lot of times the message does get lost to a lot of people that it could get to. Do you guys agree with that?
Sure.
There's so much code and so much bullshit. Like, sure, you can go to alternative stuff, but do you have to be that deep? I mean, somehow pass out the key, the Rosetta Stone for this code, so people like us can really easily digest it.
I agree.
I think that's on purpose. Sorry, but I didn't mean to cut you off. I think it's on purpose so stuff can get misinterpreted. So if it doesn't happen, it falls through the cracks. It gives him enough wiggle room to just cover his own ass. This whole QAnon phenomenon or whatever it is, I don't buy into it 100%. I'm even 50%, to be honest with you, because there's been so much that's been said, and this one's going to go away, that one's going to go away, and it hasn't materialized yet. So I don't know. I mean, the thing is just this guy, he panders, or these gentlemen or women, whoever it is, this group of individuals, or person panders to the people so far on the right that it's their white knight, their knight in shining armor, and whatever he's saying is gospel. Well, same thing happened on the left with this whole Mueller Russian investigation, and it didn't come to fruition because it was bullshit as well. So, I mean, personally, and this is just my opinion, when you're too far on either side, it's no good. You got to be open-minded.
Checks and balances on both sides.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Did you see the thing that Trump wants to start the government news network to counter CNN? That's from straight V for Vendetta.
That's straight V for Vendetta,
That's
dude.
a dangerous thing.
Very dangerous. Very dangerous.
What about that senator? What's her name? Ilhan Omar or whatever her name is. She comes out.
One?
Yeah, she came out this week and says that at one point they caught her saying how Barack Obama is exactly like Trump, and he killed millions of people or thousands of people or whatever in the Middle East, and that he locked up kids in cages before Trump. And then I guess she got the Iggy to stop breaking kayfabe because now she's backpedaling on everything she said. Meanwhile, they got her verbatim, and quoted in I think a magazine or whatever it was, or blog or whatever, some kind of publication. And it just, it just goes to show you that, there's a lot of shit hidden under the sun, but it has to come to fruition hopefully sooner than later.
Dude, she sat down. You guys saw that interview where she sat there making it look like she went to a baseball fantasy camp talking about terrorism school. Did you see that clip?
Yeah.
No, I did
Dude,
not.
like laughing about it. Oh yeah, we had to, like she was the dainty little terrorist that they caught her like self-defense. Sorry.
Isn't she like banging her brother like Game of Thrones style or something like that? Was that the one that married her brother? Is banging her brother or no?
Yeah. I was just giving her the sign there to steal third.
Nice.
Steal ahead. I thought they were doing that.
Yeah. Go Khashoggi.
Dude, these are the fucking people that are in charge of the free world.
Yeah.
And we're looking at Instagram comments where they're defending them like that. There's no way they would ever make money off the treatment of cancer. They would cure us.
Fucking stupid.
Oh, that fucking asshole. See, God damn it.
All right,
You got 9 minutes. You got 9 minutes.
Now.
Go
Damn
ahead.
it. No, that fucking jerk off pissed me off so bad today.
So Stevie had put out something for his ad, and
fuck
then
him.
some Mark came back at
God,
him
I hope he
on
gets dick cancer. That guy.
on Instagram. Tell him
Answer
to
the
stay in
prick.
his lane. Go ahead, Sally.
Yeah,
I
so
put
he
up a
turned
thing about cancer
Yeah.
really quick. I put up a thing about there was a meme about how the kid's asking his mom why there's no cure for cancer, and she said basically there's no money in the cure, there's money in the treatment, and that's a general thing that most people will agree with.
Right.
But two people in particular tried to put me and tell me to stay in my lane.
and then I couldn't fucking believe when he said, just be an entertainer. Go fuck yourself. You're a talking monkey. Just be a mark, you fucking hump. Like, it just pissed me off that people can't expand. Like, like a baseball player who comes out and says, I want to hunt Bigfoots. Like, you can't respect that? Why can't you respect it? Let him come out of his lane a little bit. Stevie, just fucking work out and shut up. That's all you got to do. All you have to do is just work out and shut up.
I
and
will
you're
put
fine.
it over. I mean, you're half ribbon. You're half ribbon on Canseco, and fuck Canseco, Bash Brothers. I'm a McGuire guy anyway. If you're gonna do gas, go all the way. But fucking like the fact that he's trying to work people and charge money for it, fuck him. But Tom DeLonge is the opposite of that, right? There's a guy Blink 182 on top and said, "Fuck this, I'm dedicating my life to UFOs now."
He walked away from the
Yeah.
other shit, right? But that's the thing, because nobody was going to listen to him talk about, well, I have this proof when he's singing fucking funny little pop songs. So he wanted to spend his time doing what he wanted to. You know what I mean? So, and then for anybody, first of all, for anybody to tell someone else, just be an entertainer. Go fuck yourself.
Yeah. Well, you're not.
Seriously, go fuck
You're a
yourself.
Mark. You're not even an entertainer to that fucking
you
dude.
have
So
no idea. You're a fucking idiot who's gonna buy the merch of some guy who now you don't want to listen to. I don't want to hear you because you're talking things I don't want to hear. Go fuck yourself. Don't listen to him. Go fucking get off my planet and put a bullet in your mouth. That way you don't have to listen to anything anymore. All right? Just get off my planet. I don't need you here anymore because people like that just make me sick. And especially on fucking Stevie Richards, the guy who fucking goes out of his way for everyone else.
yeah,
The guy who is the nicest one out of all fucking four of us assholes.
the guy who designed the "Hey Pal" shirt. Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Like, people in the past week are pretty much telling me, don't fucking be that guy anymore. And it's really, I pray to my God, who I believe in, that please give me strength, because they're
fucking unreal. Like,
they're testing me a little bit.
and they sat there and their comments were blinder comments. Like, so no matter what you say, no matter your comeback to whatever they're going to say is you're fucking nuts. If you say, because what I'm talking about is legit, is logic, and there's so many people. There are just so many fucking people on the planet. You think they can hide a cure? Yes, you fucking asshole. Do you think how much money do you think they can get off if they sold the cure? They can get anything. Like, no, you fucking moron. Look at it. Look at how, like, I'm not going to break this down into fucking minuscule bullshit because it's just stupid to just hand wave it away and go, no, it doesn't make any sense to me, and whatever you say is wrong. Right. It's preposterous.
GGP, why would you put that on Stevie's comments like that?
Well, what on Stevie's comments?
You know what you did.
I know what I did last summer. What did you do last summer? Did you have a Dippin' Donuts?
What did I do? I had a big Dippin' Donut, shoved it right in his face, about a pound and a
That's
half.
right.
I was sweating my ass off at that show.
To turn it into somewhat of an analogy to a fun conspiracy we talk about, and Sal's famous line, which I think really blows the whole moon landing hoax wide open. If we can get to the moon, if we can get to Mars and all this amazing technology, especially since half the people believe we have a secret space program and actually do Mars jumps and stuff like that, wouldn't you think an earthbound disease wouldn't be so difficult when the Susan B. Komens and the American Cancer, Association or Society, whatever you call it, but these charities, these things to get money, they haven't even gotten that far with the cure, and they only use about 2% to 5% of the donations for research.
Right.
It's been already proven.
Even forget cancer. You're talking straight greed, fleecing, total lies. Where's the receipt? And you could, and also pop for Susan B. Coleman, Susan G. Coleman's cousin, Susan B. Anthony's half sister. Russo out on that one. It was awesome. But where's the money from the Girl Scouts? Where is like these huge foundations that have just become American commonplace in everything we do, and then excuses like they don't have the money. Fuck out of here. You know what I mean? Like the money's there, and who is at the top of that tree where it's really going? What is the corporate mastership, and who are those names? And like I said, no more like QAnon. Let's start pointing. Let's say,
Listen,
hey, you.
You're gonna pop for this.
Go ahead.
But the same thing in religion. They preach money is the root of all evil. Greed is bad. Yet they're always asking.
But
for
at
fucking
least they're
money.
spending it on shit.
Where? On what? Covering fucking little boys?
Yeah, well,
Get the fuck out of here.
They're not
First
like
class trip to the 700 Club. Come on.
maybe, but they're not like, oh, the priest isn't here. He's in Hawaii for a month. Like it's not that blatant. Like the money's getting kicked up, and it's going to golden, chairs and shit like that in the Vatican for sure, right?
Oh,
and,
you mean the ones
and
that
boy
are
hookers
coincidentally have,
and blow.
like, demons on them and stuff?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
No, the church. There's nothing that goes toward the church is selling. Me and Papadon and I still have faith, still have our faith, but we'll call religion out for being the biggest work of all because they want money just for the sake of having money. And the money is basically to buy your way into heaven. That's subconsciously,
Right.
and sometimes on the surface.
Or buy your way into 6 years and 3 years probation. One of those two things. It's either heaven or that. It's one of those. Buying your way out of child molestation or buying your way into an imaginary place.
Touched the kid. He's not going to go to. He's going to jail for longer.
Who's
than
that?
6 years. I said Nancy Brown's husband.
Oh, yeah.
Who goes to church, and so don't say anybody in the Catholic Church.
Yeah, well,
It's always
Monroeville Mahler even said, touch a kid in the chat room, touch a kid, go to jail for 6 years. Transplant a plant across state lines, go to jail for 10 years.
right.
Well, I was going to say that before I went into the religion thing, but let's do a little Cosby math. Well, we can even Wolfgang the whole scenario as far as diseases goes. Now CBD oil and legal marijuana is being utilized across the nation, right?
Right.
But for years they known that hemp oil and can help and whatever
Cannabis.
cannabis oil, thank you, can help diseases, can help people who have Parkinson's,
MS,
Alzheimer's,
Parkinson's, cancer,
everything. And this
Alzheimer's.
is known, documented fact.
And those
But
are
it's
like
still
those
class-
aren't like little things like the mumps, measles. Those are like the big fucking four, right?
Exactly. It's like the four horsemen.
Yeah.
But regardless of that, they still classify it as a class 1 drug. It's in the same fucking arena as drugs that obviously can kill people. But no one's ever died of a marijuana overdose. 'cause
Meanwhile,
you
they're
can't OD on it.
meanwhile they're legalizing nasal spray ketamine as a
Right, exactly.
antidepressant.
Exactly.
Get
Or
the fuck
the
outta here.
opioids the opioids that they got all the freaking poppy fields in the Middle East.
Who's
and
the
that's why
board of directors? That's your fucking job, Homie and Army. Who's the board of directors of those cunts who are fucking, oh, we did all we could with Oxy. What can we do next? What's the street drug? Ketamine?
Right.
Let's fucking antidepressant. Let's get it in the fucking let's get it in the fourth graders. Blow it up their fucking nose.
And just to bring it around, that's what the Instagram post was about. Big Pharma and the hashtags in it. It was Wellness Wednesday. It was about health and wellness.
And Big Pharma.
Yeah.
You know, we do tinctures, we do herbs. I've sent Sal some teas, some sleepy time tea, some stuff. But that's what people need to know. There's solutions and treatments and preventative stuff. Prevention's the number one thing. That's what you need to take control of. And there you won't need their medicine or their shot. That the 2-minute commercial has 4 minutes of fucking side effects they need to read off at the end of it. My God. That's a rib in itself.
Yep.
And that's
I'll take cancer over the 15 other cancers that your medicine gives me.
Yeah, anal leakage and fucking bleeding testicular fucking weeping warts. And the fact is that they to turn around and just put on the blinders to everything and say, okay, well, it's impossible. Our government wouldn't do that, which is basically what he was saying.
Yeah.
They both, him and the other fucking jerk off, they were sitting there saying, yeah, no, they wouldn't do that. It doesn't make sense for them to do it. Really? It doesn't? All the trillions of dollars doesn't make sense? Like, here's my other point about this too. You talk about these diseases that have just popped up over, let's call it the last 100 years. Like, these things should have wiped out the planet if they were at the plague levels that they put them at on every medical journal, every fucking warning, and they just haven't.
Because it's supply and demand. You can't have one without the other. And these individuals who are questioning this are fucking idiotic and stupid, and they need to realize that at the end of the day, you follow the money, you follow the truth.
Mainstream media came out, the local news, that the government was unknowingly experimenting on the people of St. Louis at one time, I think in the 50s or something, right?
Oh, yeah, with the vaccinations, right? Or whatever it was.
No, they were
giving
some
them
kind of
syphilis.
airborne. They were in the water and stuff in St. Louis. They were doing some kind of drug experimentation with them on a citywide level.
That's ridiculous, dude.
Yeah, but let's look at all the other shit that's going on though. The
I think it
Tuskegee
was
Airmen.
LSD, wasn't it, or
Yeah.
something?
Yeah, it was LSD.
So like, but that's what I'm saying. Like, to look at all this and then say, oh, our government wouldn't do that to us.
Yeah.
Okay, how do you figure that is even, how is that the end of your argument? Oh well, over the the decades that this has been out, somebody would have talked.
Meanwhile, you have Bill Clinton coming out and apologizing for MK Ultra.
Right.
Yeah,
That's what I mean. Like,
But
We're
no,
going out now.
they would never do that. 40.
no.
That was those guys. That was those guys, not these guys.
People have talked, but
that's-
they became horrible drivers after that.
Yeah.
Who decided somehow I will make my car explode.
Yeah,
or go off
their
a
engine
ravine.
just was like, I can't be with
drive
this car.
into a divider.
Or how do I
100
shoot
miles an
myself
hour.
in the back of the head with a staple gun 6 times?
Yeah, it's good.
How do I
Let's
do
go-
that?
Or go on an airplane and coincidentally the airplane crashes like these 19 UN officials who died in the
Beautiful.
airplane.
Put a fucking
Good
pin in
segue,
it.
right?
Put a pin in it. Can you call him, please?
Want me to call him?
Yeah, I don't have his.
Are we over the phone with this?
Yeah, because unless he has Skype, I
I'll
don't
call him.
know if he's set up with Skype.
I'll call him. Fancy, let's do it. Let's get our $600 worth out of this thing.
Yeah,
See if he actually answers. All right, can you hear the ring in a second?
Mhm.
Hear it?
Yeah,
Yeah.
got it.
Dogs
I
of
didn't
war.
believe Dreamer would be on if we're 2 for 2 with these guys. Holy shit.
He's looking at his phone right now, going, nope, nope.
He's pulling a Valvinus.
Yeah, I guess.
Try him again.
Text him. Hey, Dick, pick up.
So I don't think
He does have Skype, so
All
we'll see.
right. I mean, if you got his Skype thing and you want to send to me in chat, I'll try.
I don't have a Skype thing because I would never podcast with him.
All right.
That's awesome.
Brent Logan, hot that he has to work while we're on. Shout out to you, Brent Logan, man.
Just
Thanks
texted
for
me
all the
back.
support down under. Man, Australia's really been great for us, dude. I got to say,
Yeah.
so many just really woken minds down there.
Fucking Lethal Vendetta kicks ass, those
Yeah,
guys.
dude. So holler at your local indie. Bring us down, guys. We'd be happy to come down,
Oops.
do some damage down there.
Go.
But yeah, everybody's doing great stuff.
Raven,
Yes.
Oh,
this is Stevie Richards. You may have never heard of me. I like to interview you for my podcast.
It cost you $1.
Okay.
We can
I'll
get
pay
that
you
in
back in
bits.
10 easy
PayPal.
installments.
PayPal.
All right. Go ahead, Ben.
Yeah, welcome to the show, you guys. Conspiracy Horseman, a guy that we've referenced a fair amount here. Obviously a mentor to Stevie Richards and one of the greatest perms in the history of the wrestling business. Scotty Polo, welcome to the Conspiracy Horseman, man.
That'd be Flamingo Raven to you.
Okay. I appreciate it, Flamingo. Yeah, man. We were interested to hear what you want to talk about, because it seems like you kind of are a little 1 foot in, 1 foot out sometimes. And obviously
Flat Earther.
as we look at everything, but the one that was brought up to our attention that has been referenced is Flat Earth, man. And we've done a couple shows on this, and we're just interested kind of on your take of the whole conspiracy mindset, as well as what's going on with Flat Earth and disproving it.
I think Flat Earth is the worst thing that's ever been done to conspiracy theory. Flat Earth is so stupid and so idiotic and so just moronic that. But I think that that's something put out by like the government to get people to get some traction to give conspiracy theorists a bad name, because conspiracy theorists were starting to become a little more mainstream for a bit.
Yeah.
So what a great trap that would be to come up with a theory that's so obviously incorrect that yet people will buy because of they're idiots, and it just puts a damper on the actual progress that conspiracy theory makes.
I agree, but there is some certain things that we've taken a look at recently, and none of us are true flat earthers. It's just obviously we get it, the good rib to throw us under the bus is that, or AJ or anybody who gets ribbed by it. But we've watched some
AJ believes in flat Earth.
Yes.
They threw him under the bus on like a WWE pre-show.
Talking Smack, the post show.
Yeah, it's post show, and Daniel Bryan did like just some locker room talk. They thought they'd be cute and get it in, and then that sparked the whole thing of, all right, well, these guys are talking about it, as well as the NBA stars that were talking about it. Shaq kind of putting it over, being 33rd.
Shaq immediately retracted it afterwards when he realized how embarrassing he was.
Well, the whole thing is he's also Prince Hall Mason of the highest order, and the Freemason. A lot of what conspiracy people believe is that Freemasons have the inside knowledge that maybe the Earth isn't just flat, but where we are contained in our 7 continents, that there's outer realms, whether it's Atlantis or these other lands where.
Oh my God, that's so stupid.
Well,
First of all,
the UN map,
have
the
to do
UN
is
map
take the
echoes that, man.
All you got to do is take the flight from Johannesburg to Australia, and you prove it automatically.
I don't.
Elaborate.
Yeah.
Because you just lost all
take
the
the flight from South Africa to Australia.
but
Because
you lost all the slow brains in the room. They have no idea what you're talking about. They've never left Ohio.
Stevie's left.
Thanks
Stevie's
for
been
listening,
all over
Ohio.
the place. Stevie's been all over to Ohio.
Well, I mean,
No,
in one of these documentaries we watched, they're at Lake Titicaca. They're at Lake Titicaca, and they have a laser plane that goes across the entire lake, which should measure the amount of drop based upon the Earth's curvature. And when the laser hits the other side, there's no drop in the 3 to 5 meters that it should be, based on the amount of range.
First of all, I missed the beginning of what you were talking. Second of all, I can't vouch for anything about Lake Titicaca other than it's there. But mostly, if you look at a flat Earth map and then you take a flight from, say, I think it's Johannesburg, South Africa to Australia, it would take you like a lifetime. It would take forever to get there, according to flat earthers, because of their locations. But it doesn't. You have to go past the. I mean, because of the distance. There's so many ways of proving it just by looking at it. That simple theory. But I don't spend my day thinking about flat Earth. So everything that I researched on it has been a while ago, and I really don't remember it, other than that it's just you just check the flight for that flight.
Yeah, we're kind of in that same boat, man. It's not something we're up on. It's just one of the first things that was the pebble in the pond of you were talking about it, we were talking
doing all
about
the talking. Why isn't Stevie doing any talking?
All right, I'm here.
Stevie's laughing his ass off.
The Raven, the thing that gives these flat Earth conspiracy people, or the people that just claim the Earth is not a globe.
Tommy Dreamer says it looks like an Oreo cookie, a double stuffed Oreo cookie.
No, let me talk. You wanted me to talk? Now I'm talking. I don't know. I just wanted to finish this thought that the thing from government organizations like NASA and other things, and talking about the composite images and the secrecy and the moon landing stuff. This is what gives them the credibility that if any kind of truth, even outside of the narrative that NASA has had out since the 60s, I think that would dispel it. And just on your side too, the Behind the Curve documentary on Netflix did indeed prove a curve. So it's really strange that one laser level test at one part of the world proved flat Earth, and this one here that they spent $20,000, I think it's called a gyroscope. They pointed the laser and it did drop the exact amount that would prove curvature. So two really just tests that are on opposite ends.
If you don't believe if you believe in a flat Earth, that means you believe that there was never a Skylab, that there's no space station, that that there was no rockets to the moon or anywhere out of the galaxy, or anywhere out of the solar system. I mean, you have to discount all of that, and then you have to discount all of physics, and you have to discount so much, and then you have to discount the sun, the moon. It becomes mind-boggling to try and to even waste your energy. And with people that are committed to it, you can't convince them. Like the same thing with the flight. They go, oh, it's never happened. The flight happens all the time. Pilots fly. No, they don't. Okay, so how do you argue with somebody who just says no, they don't? You can't. So I don't like to waste my time talking about flat Earth other than to make fun of it.
Well, let's concentrate a little bit more just on the NASA side of it, just for this one last thing. And if you could talk about whatever you want after that, the thing that makes it suspicious, and we're all workers here, and we're all used to getting lied to, and or at least a version of the truth. The Orion mission that said years and years and years, decades after the moon landings ended in 1972, for the scientists to say, now we can finally have technology to try to get through the Van Allen radiation belts, because no human could ever pass through it. So we're developing a hole in technology and testing this spacecraft to finally break through the barrier of the belts. To me, that was the biggest red flag, not to prove flat Earth, but to say, well, what's going on here?
Well, but first of all, people misspeak all the time. I mean, I misspeak all the time, and I know I'm not just the only one who does it. But people jump on one thing that somebody says, and they may say the wrong thing, but obviously, there's a space station out there.
Oh, Raven, this was a produced video. This wasn't a speech or something off the cuff. This was an advertisement for a mission from NASA for the Orion mission to go through the Van Allen radiation belts and get to Mars. This wasn't like just a flub during a live interview. I'm just pointing out the one thing here. I'm not saying, oh, that proves all the flat Earth or we're not on a globe or anything. I'm just saying.
Well, I don't know. I don't know. I'm not an expert, but I do know that Van Allen's brother Barry Allen was the Flash.
Nice, good pull.
Tremendous.
Well, Raven, let me ask you this. Pop it on here. You don't believe in flat Earth. We don't believe in flat Earth. At least I don't. I can speak for myself. I know Stevie's on the fence a little bit here and there, but What
Oh wait,
do
hold
you?
on. Just before you go any further, what I was trying to get in before was, hey, look, if you talk to Christians, they don't even believe in dinosaurs. So I mean, you can find a lot of people to believe a lot of. You can find a lot of people to believe a lot of things. Doesn't mean they're accurate. You know.
No,
so,
you're right.
Anyways, you were saying.
Yeah, that's Papa Don. He doesn't believe in dinosaurs either.
No, I didn't say I don't
Ridiculous.
believe in dinosaurs.
Thank you.
I didn't say that. I said that Eric Dubé made a valid point, saying that the dinosaurs are a work,
Yeah.
and that what we have in the museums isn't 100% accurate. That's all I've said. They don't. The kayfabesaurus is all yours, my friend. But what do you believe in as far as conspiracy topics? What is something that makes your boat float for the listeners out there?
I believe aliens. I believe that aliens helped shape that we're hybrids of because I don't think there's so much if you study like Lloyd Pye's book about what's it called? I forget Lloyd Pye. Anyway, but Lloyd Pye was an author. He used to be the guy who had the star skull. Anyway, he wrote this book about Bigfoot. I don't know which would be the plural, but giving a pretty detailed reasoning why it's impossible to fake Bigfoot prints, and also going into, and which is one of my favorite subjects, but also going into detailed analysis on how we wouldn't evolve from like a one-celled amoeba to humans, and why like because nothing ever evolves out of its own species, but according to evolution, according to Charles Darwin, everything started as one amoeba cell, and it turned into everything else. They turned it into fish, and fish turned into amphibians, and amphibians became mammals. But yet, there's no proof of anything jumping from one species to the next, and other than staying within their genus. And so I really think that we were, aliens colonized, because frankly, religion makes so much. Just a couple points of all on the same thing. Religion makes so much sense if it was alien. If God that came to the Jews was really an alien, makes so much sense, because otherwise it doesn't make a whole lot of sense. Secondly, the pyramids, nobody could have built those. We can't even build them now. They couldn't have built them without help. Also, the Sumerian society, which was the first of everything, lawyers, parliamentary procedure, all this kind of crap.
Wait, not the Greeks?
No, the Sumerians. And if they
Sumerians were Greeks.
What?
No, I'm just messing with Sal.
Oh, and the Sumerians popped up like out of nowhere. There's no way they could have formed so fully of whole cloth in such a short period of time, unless there was help from another alien.
And that's also the place where the RH blood factor that may be in there. And Sal and I are.
I have RH blood factor. I'm O negative, baby. I'm definitely descended from the aliens.
This explains a lot.
Yeah, no one's gonna question that. With Sal and I being atheists and GGP and Stevie, being men of faith, though, I agree with the Bible stuff, especially, where we are with CRISPR technology and being able to have kids with 3 parents and all this genetic modification relates right back to God made man in his own image. So if we're now...
And also, if we were descended, one of the things Lloyd Pye points out is if we were descended from apes, if apes somehow mutated through Darwinian evolution into humans, how did we go from having 42 chromosomes to 22? How do we go from having something like 30 autoimmune disorders to 2,000 or something? On our gene tree, so many things had to have been mutated that modified. It couldn't have there's so many things had to have been what? Modified, that's the word I was looking for, sorry. So many things that have been modified that it couldn't have been done just by nature and not in that short period of time.
Right.
Well, that's because Darwinism is a big lie. It's a work.
Right.
Of course it is.
Did you see the story last...
It works within species groups. That actually makes sense within the species group. It just doesn't make sense for macro evolution on a macro scale.
Absolutely.
This is a tough thing, though, Raven, because we were talking earlier about that college scam with the Full House lady, the parent. What's her name?
Hey,
Lori
Becky.
Laughlin.
Becky.
Hey,
No, wait, and the pictures of Felicity Huffman look nothing like her. I think she's
Right.
been kidnapped.
Is that a clone? Felicity Huffman clone?
I think she's the clone range.
But on a bigger scale, this is what we talk about from time to time with education and indoctrination. So many things about history, so many things about what we just talked about with Darwinism and things that need to be explored and rewritten as far as history, science, a lot of different things. There needs to be a paradigm shift in education, and it seems like everybody's just taking, well, everybody's professional test takers anyway at this point. So, I mean, what do you think would take it? I mean, outside of, I guess, aliens just landing, I think even if aliens landed like at the Super Bowl, World Series, and everybody's front yard, we'd be like, oh, that's cool. What's on HGTV?
Yeah.
Yeah, I would.
People would think it's a work.
No, I think that would truly. I think that eventually it'll show itself, but it just. I mean, look, if you think about it, religion is as big a fairy tale. I'm not saying, look, whether I believe in God, I believe in a higher power, I believe in all that, but still, it doesn't make a whole lot of sense. It does sound like a big fairy tale,
Oh, it's total work. We say here all the time. Stevie and I believe in creation. Ben and Sal are atheists, but we all agree that religion is a giant work and it's been manipulated by man for the benefit of man. So we can have faith and believe in a higher power, but doesn't necessarily mean that we're religious.
Huge
You know what I
difference
mean?
between faith and religion. That's all.
We had on.
I'm saying, but even faith still is kind of ludicrous at its heart that there's an all-powerful, all-seeing, all. I mean, I believe in it, but I'm still like. I'm still like.
Here's the thing. The fragile human mind needs faith in order to comprehend, in order to put a face, in order to put a name, in order to put a blame on something. Because the crops died. The crops died. My kid's got a fucking third head. Like, they need to blame somebody. They need to say, well, God was mad. I fucked up. I didn't live a good enough life.
Sounds like the nuclear power plant. You need to blame them for that.
So you don't believe in it then?
No, I do believe in. I do have spirituality. I do not believe in, a God or something to that effect.
That's the thing. Is I'm almost, as much as I want to believe, part of me is still agnostic because something except I'll play both sides of the coin because something that is all powerful, all knowing, all seeing just seems so mind-bogglingly unbelievable. However, in physics, quantum physics, that all particles are related. So maybe something is an overriding intelligence that is the application of all these particles being related and is one giant overviewer, seer, sayer, and soothsayer of the whole thing. You could drive yourself nuts. It's like if space is supposed to be finite, there's supposed to be an end to space. So what's on the other side?
Well, if we're in a multiverse, we could be just bumped up against other one like Bubbles because we bust sales ball about.
Well, what's in between the bumps? But
well,
it's not going to be a perfect smooth.
Is that what CERN? Is that what CERN is for? To open up these portals in between these bubbles and create these black holes to be able to travel through? And the D-wave quantum physics computer that Geordie Rose talks about is reaching into these other dimensions that we may be butted up against, and they wouldn't be spending all this money in investment if they weren't sure that they could get in there, in my opinion.
And by the same token, people just want to learn to have knowledge. So maybe they're just trying to trying to test the boundaries of science that is actually known. It's so many of these questions are so unanswerable.
Right.
And so in a certain way, you almost have to go with the experts until you find evidence that proves the experts wrong.
That machine seems like alien technology, though.
Theory. What's that?
That machine that they've built at CERN that's 17 miles long to crash two protons head to head or neutrons like two pins flying across the ocean, like that's the equivalent. That seems to me like alien technology that was handed to them. Now build this, and
it sure does.
Yeah,
it sure does to me too. But I'm just saying. But who freaking knows? And you know what they're doing? They're building bigger CERN now.
Yeah.
CERN, they need a bigger one to find more stuff out. Well, what's amazing to me then is when you think about CERN, is you think about how many bolts and screws and tiny little nuts that they went through, like the precision to build a machine of that capacity. It's 17 miles long is absolutely mind-boggling.
Yeah. Yep.
So what do you think? What do you think about the Mandela effect then, Raven? Because that's been directly linked to CERN as well with breaking the
That
veil in the
hasn't been
multiverse.
directly linked.
It has.
Yes,
They put it in their
has.
video. They put it in their own video, Sal.
Stop.
The fuck you mean not directly linked? It's
Stop
from
your
their
nonsense.
scientists.
Stop your nonsense.
I'm not a big believer in the Mandela effect.
Really?
Yeah, I don't see any proof for it other than the Bernstein Bears.
No, it's Bernstein now.
Well,
Yeah.
you're a big fanboy of comics and science fiction like Sal and myself. I mean, I'm picking to guess you're a fan of Star Wars, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Who isn't? Well,
Okay.
except for the first, the fourth, fifth, and I mean, the first three really in order, but the second three to be made, they were just atrocious.
Gotcha. But so the famous line in Empire Strikes Back where Vader breaks kayfabe, what is it? What do you recall it being?
What's that?
When he tells Luke the gimmick, what's Vader's line?
I'm your father, Stevie.
Wouldn't that be something?
Right. I mean, you don't
I
recall.
won't be your cousin.
No,
Get-
but the whole point that he's making is now, even James Earl Jones has come out and said, "I've read the script. This is what it was, and it's
Oh,
different."
well,
now."
I don't know what you're talking about. You're talking about
The
I
line
missed
is.
part of what you were saying. You broke
Oh,
up for a second.
Tell them the lines.
All right, the line that Vader says, where he admits that he's Luke's father. All right, everybody remembers it. I remember it. Luke, I am your father. But now, if you
No,
watch
I'm your father, Luke.
no, it's
No.
not. It's not even that. It's no, I am your father, and that's it. That's the
Right.
line.
Yeah, but you know what though? I totally believe in conflation. Our memories conflate things, and every time you remember something, you remember the last version of what you remembered it as. If you don't remember the exact event, you remember remembering it. And I remember me and my buddies were convinced that these lines were in Monty Python and the Holy Grail, and it turned out we made them up. But we had read the line so many times, and then we must have kept adding a word and another word. And so, because like when the King Arthur goes to the French guys, and he goes, we're searching for the Holy Grail, and he goes, we already got the one. It's very nice. I've seen it so many times. He never says that, but we were convinced that he said that.
Or did he? And the Mandela effect had taken it out because we put in there, with Luke, I am your father. Sure, in the movie it's changed to no, I'm your father. But even in the references, like Chris Farley in Tommy Boy, he's in the fan going, lo, 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 Luke, I am your
But
father.
again, that could
Yeah,
be.
but I mean, if you want to go back even further and play it against Sam, and from Humphrey Bogart, Casablanca,
Never
he
said
never says play it against Sam.
Come up and see me sometime. She never said it. My little chickadee.
And Shakespeare, he never says lead on Macduff.
All right, quiz you on this then, Raven. Forrest Gump.
I still don't believe in it. Wait, I still don't. But I just want to say, I still don't believe in the Mandela effect. I think that's
Okay, we'll move on.
Have you heard about that one guy who thinks the Mandela effect happened or broke the whole system in 2012 and everything?
Yeah.
What is it? And the world died in 2012.
Mayan
We
calendar?
don't know it yet.
John Teeter.
No,
Yeah,
he's,
I heard him on the higher side cat.
Wow.
no, Raven. Well, the gimmick is this, Raven. Supposedly, every time CERN does one of these collisions of the protons, they change the weight of an electron, and it shifts us into an alternate universe that's parallel to the one that we're in currently. So it's a universe that's very similar. I would to say like 99.99999 whatever 78.
Why would it do that? Why would it do that?
Because maybe we're in like a slideshow carousel where something just changes, or if it is time travel and it's a butterfly effect, possibly.
Like,
The cause doesn't meet the effect.
do you have?
Like it just doesn't. I don't know. I know quantum physics a little bit, but I don't know it that
Well,
well.
here's-
It just doesn't sound like an electron slipping is going to make us transfer to another universe.
Well, what's weird is in their videos, and CERN ties in a lot of like art ballet with what they're trying to do, and it really is like breaking this into a new realm. They did a rap video, which was for the nerds, but there is one part that deconstructs where the guy holds up a Nelson Mandela picture and then something else on that is changed in a date of 2012, like you just said. So it feels like they made a breakthrough during that time, and all of the prophecy that we had going into 2012, and then the Mandela effects really started to be noticed around 2015 to 2017. So the timeline is strange.
Now,
Until they get some Foghorn Leghorn videos, I'm not gonna really worry about it.
Gotcha.
see, like now,
No, stuff like that's just too. It's too esoteric. It's too technical. It's for me to be bothered with it. Like aliens, like I went down to like a deep study on ancient alien theory, and that always works for me. I like that. 9/11 absolutely will work. That's easy. That's easy enough. Both of those are easy enough to divine information and to disprove the experts. But so many other theories are more just like theories du jour, and everybody wants to have their own little special theory. So I feel special, and I'm in a special group. I see things in a special way, which is a big part of it. And a lot of them are either so technical that none of us are going to know one way or the other what the real deal is, or they're so stupid like flat Earth that that it's whatever's whatever. But they only really there's not a whole lot of theories. There's not a lot of conspiracy theories that really make me want to even discuss them, other than like Bigfoot or obviously there's no Loch Ness monster, because how would there be just one? That means there'd have to be at least two to carry on the species. So unless there was just one that was super long and he's really old and he's like 100 million years old and he outlived everybody by 90 million years old because he didn't smoke and and he ate yogurt. But
so
but where
let me ask you a question. Have you read Grant Morrison's Multiversity?
I think I read it.
Okay.
I stopped reading comics about 8 years ago. But I think I read Multiversity.
That's it. He's cut.
We're done.
Well, I mean, to go against Loch Ness.
Trying to be polite.
Yeah, to go against Loch Ness, though, I mean, we've seen a lot of, species actually come back that were considered extinct. This Loch Ness and the Lake Champlain monster, obviously far apart from each other, oceans separating them. Could that just be as simple as, the dinosaur left over? I mean, in the deepest jungles, we're seeing a lot of these come back.
Yeah, but not one dinosaur. There has to be more than one for it to live. And that's why, like, when they found the coelacanth, that creepy looking fish, the coelacanth, they found that. And but there's obviously more than one. But if there was more than one Loch Ness monster, there would have to be more than one for it to to continue to live on, unless it's only been around, and unless the monster's only 100 years old, and its parents were 200, and so that there were two of them back a way ago. But it just doesn't seem like it makes any sense. Whereas with the Bigfoots, there's a lot of anecdotal evidence, and the reason I'm so fascinated by it is because the amount of work it would take to fake Bigfoot tracks is it's actually impossible. It's virtually impossible, because when they have a set of tracks, a complete set of tracks, like 5, 6, 7 in a row that are untouched. First of all, the only way to make them is to have a creature that could take that kind of step. So you'd have to have somebody like Shaquille O'Neal to fake them because of the length of the step. Then, because of the depth of the print, he'd have to be having like a 500-pound dumbbell on his barbell on his back to get the weight depth enough, because it wouldn't go deep enough otherwise. It would also have to be in that kind of shape of a foot, and also the arch, the ankle on the Bigfoot or the Sasquatches is also more centered on the foot than it is on a human being. So you'd have to have a special boot made that
And also,
then
you
you'd
have to put the ridge lines on. You have to put the curl of the toes in. It's not
and
possible.
tracking is a
There are
legit
people
forensic science.
who can make that in a Hollywood studio.
I was just thinking I could probably 3D print that and put that on
Yeah.
sale and
Yeah,
have them go out there.
But here's the thing: you couldn't print it and get it big enough and weighted enough for you to take the steps at the distance they need to be for a
Okay.
Bigfoot, because their Bigfoots are like 7 feet, 8 feet tall, 10 feet tall. So to take a step and to have the amount of weight, because they're all over 300, 400, 500 pounds, to take all the tracks that they've proven, and tracking is a forensic science. I mean, it's a proven science, and it holds up in a court of law. You couldn't put enough weight, because think about it. If you're making a track, you'd have to put your foot down, and then you'd have to take a giant step for the next one, and you'd have to put a huge amount of weight. You'd have to be carrying 250-pound dumbbells